Notes on the first, second, and third strings, G, C, and E minor chords. So the E with a little m beside it stands for minor, so it's called a minor chord, an E minor chord. G and C are what we call major chords. We can write a G, M-A-J, or G with a capital M, but we usually, in music, we can just put the G, the C, and it stands for major. So a G major, or G chord in this case, we only know 3 strings. So a G chord is G, B, G notes. When you see the 3 notes aligned like that, you play them at the same time. So take your pick and slide it down towards or strum it down towards the floor. So that's the first measure, G. C, we have a G note, a C note, and an E note. So start on the 3rd string and strum down. And for the E minor chord, we just have a G, a B, and an E. So just start on the 3rd string and strum down. So notes on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, G, C, and E minor chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with a metronome at 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you may know the G chord like this, or like this. C chord, E minor chord. The notes of a G chord are GBD. That's called a triad. We'll go into that later. Now G, B, G. So this is not every note of the G chord. We're leaving out the D note, the 5th. If we have what's called the 3rd in there, we can still call it a G chord. Same thing with C. We actually have all the notes of a C chord. G, C, and E. A C chord is spelled C, E, G. So we're in what's called 2nd inversion, with the 5th being in as the lowest note. Now with the E minor chord, we have all the notes again, E, B, and G, G, B, E. And this one is in 1st inversion with the 3rd in the bass. So it's still a G chord, still a C chord, and still an E minor chord. Now for the chord chart underneath, where you have we have what's called the flathead notes. These are used in rhythm. If you notice, you can't tell whether it's the way it's written, you can't tell if it's a B, a C, or an A. All it means is that you'll have the chord written above it, the G chord, and then we have quarter note rhythms, except for the very last measure, the 5th measure at the bottom of the page. We have what looks like a diamond, which is a whole note. So for the second part, what's called the chord chart, it's just a different way of writing what we have, the first 5 measures that we've already played. So we play it just the same. So we're reading the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notes on the first, second, and third strings, G, C, and E minor chords. If we wanted to play this in a classical or flamenco style, we could take the index finger and strum it across the strings the same way we would a pick. I'll put my thumb on the fourth string, someplace to anchor it, and then I'm going to hold my M, A, and my pinky. I'm going to hold them straight, and I'm just going to strum with my index finger. So notes on the first string, first, second, and third strings, G, C, and E minor chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is great practice for later on for the Rasgueado. So go ahead and practice this G, C, E minor with the index finger strumming down